5 things that kill confidence. 1. The trap of people-pleasing. You think you're being nice, but the truth is, people-pleasing is slowly destroying your confidence. On the surface, saying yes to everyone seems harmless. You avoid conflict, you gain temporary approval, and you feel like you're keeping the peace. But beneath the surface, there's a cost. Every yes to someone else becomes a silent no to yourself. Over time, this pattern convinces you that your own needs don't matter. The harsh reality: most people don't even appreciate the sacrifices you make. They may enjoy your compliance in the moment, but long-term, people-pleasers are often taken for granted. If you never stand up for yourself, others assume your boundaries don't exist and treat you accordingly. Confidence doesn't grow from pleasing others. It grows from authenticity. It's built by speaking your truth, setting clear boundaries, and standing by your values, even when others disagree. When you constantly chase approval, you're outsourcing your self-worth to everyone else, and that is exhausting. Ask yourself, how many times have you agreed to something while silently resenting it later? That single act of self-betrayal chips away at your confidence. Repeated often enough, it convinces you that you have no voice, no power, and no right to be heard. Here's the paradox: the more you try to be liked by everyone, the less respected you become. But when you stop overgiving and start honoring yourself, you attract genuine respect. People may not always like you, but they'll know you are real, and that's far more powerful than shallow approval. 2. Why people-pleasing feels safe. Most people-pleasing habits come from childhood. Maybe you grew up in a home where keeping others happy meant staying out of trouble. Or perhaps you learned early that love and attention were conditional. You only received them when you behaved nicely. Over time, you equated pleasing others with safety. This programming follows you into adulthood. At work, you say yes to every task because you fear rejection. In relationships, you avoid voicing your needs because you don't want to upset your partner. Socially, you agree with opinions you don't believe in just to fit in. It feels safer to blend in than to stand out. The problem is, safety doesn't equal happiness. Constantly molding yourself into what others want is exhausting. Instead of being known for who you truly are, you become a watered-down version of yourself. And the irony: the very approval you crave slips further away. People sense when you're not being authentic. True confidence requires risk. The risk of being disliked, the risk of disappointing others, and the risk of standing alone sometimes. But without that risk, you never develop self-trust. Self-trust is the core of real confidence. So yes, people-pleasing feels safe, but it's the kind of safety that keeps you small. 3. The cost of always saying yes. Every time you say yes when you mean no, you pay a price. Maybe it's lost time, extra stress, or resentment that eats at you silently. The more you do it, the more you lose yourself. You stop asking, "What do I want?" and instead think, "What will make them happy?" This pattern drains your energy. Your priorities get buried under everyone else's. Your goals take a back seat. And because you're always stretching yourself thin, burnout becomes inevitable. Ironically, the very people you're trying to please often don't notice or care. They just assume you'll always be available. But the hidden cost is even deeper. You lose respect from others and from yourself. When people realize you'll never say no, they start valuing your time less. And worse, you begin to believe that your boundaries aren't worth defending. That belief is poison to your confidence. Think about this. The most confident people you admire, leaders, entrepreneurs, even trusted friends, all know how to say no. They protect their energy, they honor their boundaries, and they prioritize what matters. That's not selfishness, that's self-respect. And without it, confidence cannot exist. For how people-pleasing destroys confidence. Confidence isn't built in a single day. It's built by hundreds of small decisions where you choose yourself. Every time you hide your real opinion, suppress your needs, or stay silent to avoid conflict. You send your brain one damaging message: my voice doesn't matter. Over time, this chips away at your self-worth. You begin to doubt whether your feelings are valid. You second-guess simple choices, asking others for approval before making a move. You may even find yourself apologizing for things that don't require an apology. This isn't humility, it's self-erasure. The cruel irony is that people-pleasers are often kind, generous, and capable individuals. But their need for approval acts like an invisible cage, and inside that cage, confidence dies slowly. Because true confidence thrives only when you can stand firm in your identity, even when others disagree. Ask yourself this: who do you admire more? Someone who always bends to keep others comfortable, or someone who respectfully holds their ground? We admire those who are authentic, not those who constantly seek validation. And here's the truth: if you want others to respect you, you must first respect yourself. Breaking free starts with small acts of courage. Saying no, I can't take that on right now. Voicing your preference without fear. Choosing honesty over comfort. Each time you do, you build a new mental habit. My opinion matters. My boundaries are valid. That's the foundation of unshakable confidence. So remember, people-pleasing doesn't just waste your time, it kills the very confidence you've been trying to build. 5. The path to authentic confidence. Escaping the trap of people-pleasing isn't about suddenly becoming rude, selfish, or dismissive. It's about learning to value your own voice as much as you value others. Authentic confidence is built on 2 pillars: self-respect and honesty. The first step is setting boundaries. This doesn't mean shutting people out. It means clarifying where your energy, time, and emotional capacity begin and end. Boundaries are like guardrails. They protect you from resentment and burnout. A confident person says no, not because they don't care, but because they do care about their own well-being and about giving their best when they say yes. The second step is practicing radical honesty with yourself and others. If you disagree, say it respectfully. If you don't want to attend, decline gracefully. If you're unsure, admit it without shame. Honesty creates trust, both with others and within yourself. Every time you stand firm in truth, you tell your subconscious, I can handle rejection. I can handle disapproval. I don't need to shrink to be accepted. Finally, replace validation seeking with self-validation. Instead of asking, do they like me? Ask, do I like how I showed up? When your sense of worth comes from within, external opinions lose their power. You become grounded, unshakable, and free. The path won't be easy. People who benefited from your compliance may resist when you start standing tall. But that resistance is proof that you're growing. And over time, you'll notice something magical. Those who truly respect you will admire your confidence even more. Authentic confidence isn't about pleasing everyone. It's about being fully yourself, unapologetically, respectfully, and consistently. Final word: choosing yourself over approval. At the heart of people-pleasing is a simple but dangerous trade: exchanging your authenticity for approval. It feels safe in the moment, but over time, it chips away at your confidence, your voice, and even your sense of identity. The truth is, no matter how kind, accommodating, or agreeable you are, you will never be able to please everyone. Someone will always disagree, disapprove, or demand more. The real power comes when you stop chasing acceptance and start standing in your truth. Imagine how much lighter your life would feel if you no longer measured your worth by someone else's reactions. Imagine how much more energy you'd have if you weren't constantly overthinking every yes or no. That's what happens when you break free from people-pleasing. You reclaim the energy that's been scattered across everyone else's expectations, and you invest it back into your own growth. Does this mean being selfish? Not at all. True confidence isn't about ignoring others. It's about balancing empathy with self-respect. It's about helping because you want to, not because you have to. It's about speaking your mind, even if your voice shakes, because your honesty matters as much as anyone else's. If you've been stuck in the people-pleasing cycle for years, breaking it won't happen overnight. You'll feel guilty. You'll worry people will think you've changed. And in some ways, they'll be right. You are changing, but for the better. With each boundary you set, each no you say, and each moment you validate yourself instead of waiting for approval, you're building a foundation of unshakable confidence. The harsh truth: not everyone will love the real you, but the ones who matter, and, most importantly, you absolutely will.